Hello there, Dan here, the Culinary Libertarian, doing a little fish cleaning today. So we're going to go for a bit of a ride, and what I'm showing is several things, including the fish, the cutting board, an empty hotel pan, a knife, and the handy dandy use of old, dirty kitchen back there, old produce bags. So there's the upside down version, and here is, there we go. And now we're back sort of kind of level. With the counter, cut the bags in half so they open all the way up. With the counter so that the surface tension of the water holds the bag in place, and that makes cleaning up easy. You just fold the mess into plastic and you're good to go. So these are fish that my daughter caught the other day when we went fishing. One of my ideas, instead of cutting the fillets off, I'm going to attempt. These are little guys. This is the size of my boning knife, and they're about the same size. The biggest one is only slightly bigger. So what I would try is cut the head off, cut the gills out. Maybe I'll show you that and save. So the gills are garbage, but the head and the bones can be used for a fantastic fish stock, and that's, well, ideal. The highest level is fish consomme, but a fish chowder is fine too. Take the backbone out. So what I'm going to do is butter. I've forgotten all my fish butchery words. Take the head off, cut the belly open, take the guts out, then cut down through the center, cutting the rib bones and the pin bones, opening this up, butterflying it open, taking out the rib cage and the spine. That's going to be saved for the broth. And then that whole skin on two-sided fillet is going to get brined very shortly, for a brief time, not shortly, brined briefly, because it's very thin, doesn't need too much time in the brine. And then taken out, put on a rack to dry, and that's going to form what's called the pellicle. When you cold smoke things, what that means is that the temperature of the smoke is so low it doesn't cook the food. Hot smokers like the one I have and use for the pork butts and briskets, that's a hot smoker. It actually cooks and smokes. Cold smoke for like lox or sides of salmon is cold smoked. I'm on the fence about what I'm going to do here. I might actually end up doing hot smoke, but low enough temperature that it cooks it, but nice and slow, so we get a good smoke in there. So the pellicle thing, what that means is you'll see kind of a stickiness form on the surface of the fish flesh. Say that 5 times fast. That stickiness actually is going to hold the smoke. So when you cold smoke mullet or salmon or trout, that pellicle helps hold the smoke on, gives it a nice color and flavor. So anyway, now on to, so the main idea is cutting behind the, I forgot the name of the fin, cutting behind the fin, going really close to the gill plate on both sides to keep the, well, so if you're buying fish head on in a restaurant or at home, the fish you leave on the head that you can't eat is incrementally raising your cost. If you're in a restaurant, you're going through hundreds of these things in the course of a week or a month, well, that's adding lots of costs. So you want efficiency. So, all right, heads off. We can be, oh yeah, make, hello there, hi, how are you? Yeah, that's kind of weird. So now down, so here's my Julia moment, save the liver. I don't know if trout livers are good. In the northern lower Michigan, this area, Traverse City, Charlevoix area, there is a fish called whitefish. Lake Michigan whitefish. They go crazy for it. It is said The livers are so delicious you can't buy them because the fishermen keep them. Don't know if it's true. I did eat, I think it was monkfish liver, which was interesting. I'm not sure I would do it again, but I did it. So cutting down through the belly, going through the pectoral fin, and then, all right, where is, I don't have a bin for the guts, so the guts are coming out. Guts, yeah, that's the gross part. So there's a strange thing, and I'm sure someone has fish words for it. On the inside of this fish, it wasn't the case on all whole fish. Tilefish didn't have this, but there's this is the trigger part, blood and guts. There is a seam, not a seam, a sort of pool of blood at the top of the bone there. And if you just cut down through it, it does come out as this big, long blood clot snot. The fish will definitely need rinsing after all of this anyway. So in some cases, the rib bones are coming off of the flesh. So these little guys are not easy to clean because they're so small. But the whole idea is with your sharp knife, maybe you can hear that, slide down. I'm going to see if I can, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do another one. I'm going to move the camera down because hearing the bones cut isn't the same as seeing the bones cut. But part of this was to see if I could even do one time. So, all right, that's going to work. Cut, cut. All right. And so, like all other cutting things, the sharper the knife, the better. And like all other cutting things, don't cut you. No human DNA in the project. All right. I'd say that's mostly a success. So, rib cage, what do you call that? Spine is out. Now, let me rinse my hands, and I'll be right back. All right, so that's slightly easier to see. We'll see how that goes. What you can do is just along, these are coming out very easily. Since these are so tiny, they don't actually offer flavor of any kind. This is just going to be in the bin. There will be places where the fin hangs out here. So there are bones in the flesh because the fin does move. So it has to have some way, the fish has to have some way to move that. So now there are, in round fish, there's trout and snook and salmon and sea bass are round fish, turbot, halibut, sole are flatfish. Right along, so fold the fish over, right along here-ish, on the round fish, are pin bones. In the fish this small, the pin bones will pretty much cook out. So what I would do if this was a big salmon or something else, I'd take a pair of pliers and pull every one of those things out, but not doing that here. And same thing for the rib cage, is find the bones, turn your knife up just a little bit so that you're close to the bones, leaving 0 to as little as possible meat on the bones. And here's some bones for that fin. We cut under them. So the fin has nothing to offer flavor-wise. And then there's some rib cage bones there. Now the other thing that happens, and we're going to try and cut this out, cut it out, is the dorsal fin. Dorsal fin. That guy does have some pretty serious bones, and so we can go, and I may just cut through the skin, cut above and below on both sides of that fin. I'm basically going to make a hole in the skin of the fish, but there are some pretty nasty little bones there, and nobody wants that. So what I'm going to end up with is fillets like that, and that's, well, it ain't beautiful. I'll say so. It's could be better, but we'll be all right. So that is the. So then the other thing that's nice about having plastic coated counter is I can put them down here and then put them down over there, and then cleanup is easy peasy. So there's that. Let me wash hands and I'll be back again. For this fish cutting job, I was using a pretty standard boning knife. I do have a fish knife that is actually too much knife for these little guys. This is much better for the salmon, the even sheep's head. Not altogether longer, but sheep's head have some really seriously stiff bones inside. So you want, I can get a better on this one. But I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more of these to go. That's just the basic cleaning method. Again, it's going to get very lightly rinsed so that the little blood bits come off. I don't want those. And the other thing I'm going to do is, before I do all that, each of these is going to go into a pan back in the cooler. Since fresh fish they're thin, they lose cool quickly, and it's kind of warm here today. So keeping your food cold, especially thin fish, or if you're doing sausage, keep your food cold. Sanitation matters. It's a big deal. Getting sick is worth avoiding. Yes, it is. So that's simple, basic fish cleaning 101.